Yankees now, it could be the demise of the New York Yankees. The Red Sox are young and have nothing really to play for. I'm just being honest. The only thing they have to play for is the next round. If they can get out of this round, it's all money for them because they're ahead of schedule. This team is way ahead of schedule with the injuries that they had at the tail end of the season, and they don't really have any pitching. Besides Crochet, they really don't. They're rebuilding their pitching staff. They're rebuilding, which, by the way, their bullpen has been rebuilt this past year. Adding Chapman and some of the players that they added, this is still a very good, very dominant bullpen. But as far as their rotation, this is not a good rotation. But the Yankees in game number 1 had to do a lot of things right. If they were going to win this game, they had to put points on the board, and they couldn't. Max Fried did exactly what the Yankees paid him to do, and that's go out and pitch shutout after shutout after shutout after shutout innings. He did what he was supposed to do. And everybody wants to blame Aaron Boone, and I'm going to get to the Aaron Boone take, because I don't sit here and listen to sports radio shows to try to copycat their thoughts. I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you my way of putting it on a silver platter, or a gold platter, or a platinum platter. Whatever platter you like, I'm going to put it on for all you fans out there. The Yankees right now, going into this series, were the best team in the American League. They were tied for the best record. Only the Blue Jays beat them out because the Blue Jays had that face-to-face record, the record that the Yankees should have had all season long. But, of course, at the tail end of the season, made a lot of mistakes and went on these skids, which hurt the Yankees. The Yankees, going into the season, were expected to go back to the World Series, and so were the Dodgers. I don't know if the Dodgers are going to make it. I damn well believe that the Yankees aren't going to make it, and there's a lot of reasons why. Aaron Judge did have 2 hits in game number 1, and he did get an RBI tonight, which could be very, very important if the Yankees actually win the game. But you expect your superstar players to show up. If Aaron Judge wants to move on in this series, he's going to have to do something special in this game. Because to me, there's all the confidence in the world going into game number 2, which is going on right now, because of the fact that you got guys like Bregman, guys like Chapman. And it is so very fitting when you look at it. The guy at the tail end of the game that shut down the Yankees and their lineup was Aroldis Chapman, who the Yankees overpaid year after year after year, which, by the way, never won with Aroldis Chapman. And then Bregman, Alex, pain in the ass, flea, nutso, Bregman. And I call him nutso because the guy, every time he's running around the bases when he hits a home run, he goes crazy. Alex Bregman hit that key hit in the later innings that gave them a 3-1 lead. And as soon as that happened, the game was over. And the reason why is the Yankees have no offense. And for years, the Yankees have tried to figure out, who do we put in this lineup to help an Aaron Judge or a Gleyber Torres or a Giancarlo Stanton, who, by the way, absolutely looked horrible last night as well. The Yankees have all the pressure on them. There's all the pressure. You play the 3 home games. You play in the smallest stadium, or one of the smallest stadiums in all of baseball. This is a home run park, and all it takes is one bat, 1 2-run home run, and the series is going to be over tonight. You know why? Because the Yankees can't hit. Are you going to blame Aaron Boone for that? And that goes to the Aaron Boone situation. Now, I have to attack Yankee fans on this one. You're going to blame Aaron Boone for taking out Max Fried when he thought that Max Fried was done? Max Fried had to tell Aaron Boone. You saw him when he gave the ball up. If he didn't think he was done, he would have probably said, when Aaron Boone went up to him, do you think he could pitch to another? You saw him do it. And he didn't say anything, which tells him maybe they have some kind of sign with one another that he was done. There's no way Aaron Boone takes him out unless he asks Max Fried that if he doesn't have one left in him. He does it. I've seen managers do this in the playoffs. And Aaron Boone is one of those guys that is faithful to his players. He doesn't just, all right, I'm going to take him out. Matchups do make sense. Analytics make sense. I'm sure upstairs they reached out to him and said, Maybe this is it for him. I don't know. But it didn't look like Max Fried was upset that he was getting pulled out of the game. He didn't look upset. Now, you want to blame Aaron Boone for that? How about blaming the players when they needed to hit and they needed to get up there and get base runners? They couldn't do that against Crochet. Crochet absolutely dominated them after Volpe's hit. I think there was only 3 hits against Crochet, and 2 of them were Volpe. Yes, Anthony Volpe. All the guys, including yours truly and all the Yankee fans, wanted him out of here. And this is the guy that only got most of the hits against one of the more dominant pitchers in Garrett Crochet in all of baseball. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for this team, and no Yankee fan shouldn't. This is not a team that I believe is capable of winning these close games. That's why I said going into tonight's game, the Yankees are going to have to put up at least 3 to 4 runs and make sure that Rodon has the confidence that he can ride that out all the way to the 7th or 8th inning. That's the only way the Yankees have a chance against this gritty Red Sox young team. And Aaron Boone is not the smartest and the perfect manager. I will admit that. But I've always stuck up for Aaron Boone. And I didn't think he was going to last. I didn't. I said it on this show. I'm not going to back out of what I said. As Keith always says, oh, you say one thing and you don't stick to the other. Well, that's a lie. Because I said that Aaron Boone was done. 70 games left of the season. I said it was over for the Yankees and Aaron Boone's going to be looking for a new job. I was wrong. Aaron Boone went on this run with the last 50, 55 games of the season where the Yankees were the best team in baseball. You could argue they were. Them, the Guardians were pretty damn good. They were good teams. The Mariners were pretty good. The fact here is, this is a team that should absolutely pulverize this Red Sox team. They're much better than this Boston Red Sox team. But again, year in and year out, since 2009, and Joba knows all about this, they can't find a guy that can do what Derek Jeter does. They couldn't find a guy that did what Johnny Damon did against the Yankees when the Red Sox played the Yankees. They didn't have, and they don't have those guys. They're not existing on this roster. There is nobody. Giancarlo, he hits home runs. Giancarlo is hot or he's cold. I don't know what he is yet. Because we only seen him in one game, and he hasn't hit yet in this series. I mean, he really hasn't. I'm worried because even if the Yankees win tonight, and the Yankees beat the Red Sox, are they better than the Guardians or the Tigers or the Mariners or any of those teams that I just mentioned? The answer would be no. Because to me, this team does not have enough depth. And I don't want to hear Jazz Chisholm, who, by the way, looked horrible when he came into the game. And by the way, for all the fans out there taking shots at Aaron Boone that Jazz Chisholm didn't start, why don't you go and talk to Brian Cashman? Why don't you go and talk to the executives, the analytics? Because that's the only reason why Jazz Chisholm did not start the game. It wasn't Aaron Boone. And I'm tired of people blaming this guy that he is the familiar face, the familiar guy to pick on every single time something happens in a professional New York Yankee game.
I understand the frustration from a fan's perspective of like, what the hell's Cashman and Boone like, but also too, and we've kind of beat a dead horse when this happens. When it comes to this, it's like, when are we going to stop complaining about those guys that aren't playing? Let's do the things on the field that get a big 2-out hit. Do those things. Like, there's so many times where it's like the first thing to do is like, hey, let's blame Cash. No. Like, I get it, fans. It's frustration. Like, I understand. Like, I'm a baseball fan. I was fortunate enough to play it, but I'm a fan longer than I ever will be on the field. You're so right. It's like, when are we going to start saying, like, Judge, you're the best player on the planet, along with Ohtani and a handful of others, because you're playing Major League Baseball. I understand that. But you can't hit 200. And we've said this. This hitting 200 gets you here. Winning a championship, nobody cares what Alex did before 2009. He won a World Series with the New York Yankees. Judge, you got to do something. And I know I'm saying it's easier said than done. But stop freaking blaming everybody else except the dudes that strap it on or in between the lines, standing 60 feet 6, busting a hard night. Like, you got to stop with the Cashman and whatever. Let's get a bunt down. Let's drive a guy over. Yeah, it's not sexy. It doesn't go in the scorebook, but you got a guy in scoring position with less than 2 outs for a guy to have a chance to score him. Like, this playoff baseball, the game is won. You seeing guys come out of the bullpen in the 5th and 6th innings that are closers in high leverage situations. Like, this is a different game. Like, getting a guy over. PFPs, we've already seen an error by Rodon that almost cost him. And so it's just these little things. Stop always putting it on management. Put it on the players. Like, we put it on ourselves as fans. Put it on them too. Like, we're grown. Like, Jazz was pissed yesterday. Good for him. I liked it. Some people may have not have, but he was pissed. And you could tell. Good for him. He's a 30-30 player. You may not like him, but his numbers don't lie. In 162 games, look at it. He was a premier top 10 player for 162 games. I would have been pissed too. But stop blaming the damn management and blame these dudes sometimes when they don't get it done.
And here's the problem with Aaron Boone. I'm going to take shots at Aaron Boone. I don't completely blame Aaron Boone.
There we go.
I do blame guys like Volpe for having some of the worst at-bats in key situations like he just did last inning. And then Max Fried, after the game, Errol, he did say that he could have kept going. But that's how it is. That's how the Yankees are. They're conditioned not to argue about it because that's how it is. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have argued. I think he should have. But he had just gotten the first guy out in the 7th, and the 8 and 9 hitters were coming up. What do you mean that you need to take out your ace when he's pitching like that? He could have gotten those 2 guys out in a handful of pitches, and it would have still been under 110. I don't think that was a smart move. And I think most Yankee fans think that was a really bad managerial move. You should have left him in for the bad hitters in the lineup. What's the worst that could have happened? The same thing that happened when they brought in Luke Weaver, who's been bad for over a month and a half. Why would you go to that guy? That's not the guy to go to. It's like when he was going to Devin Williams when he was terrible earlier this season. It's the same shit.
You know
I don't understand why you do that.
You know, the Yankees bullpen really struggled where I saw a tweet yesterday. It's weird to think Devin Williams was the only one that actually produced out of the Yankees bullpen yesterday.
Well, I mean, look, go with the hot hand. There's plenty of evidence saying that something's up with Luke Weaver. He's not pitching well.
His
Don't go to him
velo
anymore.
was down too.
I think he's playing hurt. And of course he's not going to argue out of it when they're in the postseason. But don't put him in when it's a tight spot. That's crazy. And he did it. And now we're in a tight spot again. It's 3-3 in the 7th. They got a couple of guys on. They bring in Cruz. I like Cruz a lot. But they left Rodon in after he got out of the 6th inning with that great double play to start the next inning, and he let the first 2 guys on and threw wild pitches because he's done. How do you not know to take him out before the start of the inning? To me, these are kind of fireable offenses as a manager.
Oh,
if they
stop.
lose,
Stop.
If they lose, listen,
You're going to fire
without
him.
all that.
Stop.
Without all that,
Stop.
if they lose both of these games when they were winning at home and get swept by the Red Sox, I think they have to fire him.
No, not a.
Someone's got to be a scapegoat.
No.
It's not going to
No.
be Cashman.
No. First of all, nobody needs to be a scapegoat. Right now, this is a team that was fighting all year on who was going to be in the bullpen, who was going to be the closer, who was going to be the 8th or 9th inning guy. You made a move for Devin Williams. It failed. It failed. You decided to go with Devin Williams.
Also, you got to know that the last 50 games of the season, the Yankees had the easiest schedule in all of Major League Baseball. And they talked about it a lot at the time that the Yankees were going to have a really good stretch run because of that. They took care of business. There's nothing that you could say negative about it. But now we're in these tight spots. The reason why the Yankees weren't the AL East champions is because they blew games like this all the year, mid-season, that they should have had 4 or 5 more wins. But these dumbass moves by Boone with the pitching staff and some of the lineup decisions that are more than questionable. I mean, Errol, just think about it. If you're think about when you're playing hockey. If the coach was like, you know what, against this team, I'm benching my 5th best player, and I'm going to put this other guy in that you have to be on the line with. Are you going to be happy about that they put like some platoon guy in to be on your line because of a matchup instead of a stud who's been with you all season?
And again, I'm not going to say he's the best person.
Let's go.
I'm not going to say he's the best manager in the world. I'm just telling you.
Cruz.
I'm just telling you that I think that Aaron Boone is a quality manager. And if he gets fired this offseason or next offseason, there are going to be 10 teams lining up for him.